Hi everyone! I am Merging Grace Felden from BTLE@HE1, and now we are going to talk about the features on fermentation and pickling, including its equipment, tools, and utensils. Also, their materials used by means. Fermentation and pickling. Although microorganisms are usually thought of as causing spoilage, they are capable under certain conditions of producing desirable effects, including oxidative and alcoholic fermentation. The microorganisms that grow in a food product and the changes they produce are determined by acidity, available carbohydrates, oxygen, and temperature. An important food preservation method combines salting to control microorganisms selectively and fermentation to stabilize the treated tissue or tissues. Fermentation and pickling. Okay, so tools and equipment for fermentation. Number 1, cutting tools. So, these are some of the tools that we need to use. Cutting tools, you need only one good knife to chop vegetables, but you can also use a vegetable grater to shred vegetables, or if you have one, a food processor to speed things up. Just avoid putting onions in a food processor as a blades render them extremely better. Number 2, cutting surface. Personally, I find chopping on a small cutting board frustrating. A good-sized cutting board gives you room to work. But if you have only a small cutting board, that will certainly do. Number 3, mixing bowls. Metal will react with the acid that fermentations produce. However, when you simply prepare a ferment such as vegetables, the fermentation has not yet begun. So, although I would recommend you pack your fermented food in glass or ceramic vessels, metal is perfectly fine for preparing and mixing your fermented foods. Number 4, jars and cracks. For fermenting vegetables, I use jars and cracks. For fermenting vegetables, I use glass jars with screw-top lids or bell-top jars with rubber gaskets. And number 5, bottles. Next. Wait, in order for vegetable and fruit to ferment properly, you must submerge them in liquid. Next, stainless steel funnel. You shouldn't brew or bottle acidic kombucha in metal vessels, which can cause an undesirable reaction. But the few seconds the kombucha comes into contact with the metal funnel doesn't harm mine. I would prefer my kombucha come into contact with metal rather than with plastic. So you need stainless steel funnel. And next, traditional sauerkraut cracks. You can spurge on a beautiful stoneware, pickling crack and wait, but you can easily produce delicious sauerkraut without this. And wooden pounder. Okay, wooden pounder. To make sauerkraut, you need to first bruise your vegetable before either packing them into jars or placing them in an open crack to ferment. I simply squeeze the chopped cabbage and whatnot with my hands. Okay, so let's go to pickling tools and equipment. So pickling comes with its own supplies and ingredients. The following are essential tools to create the perfect pickle. So first is we have the canning jars. you need canning jars. And recommended home canning jar comes in several standard sizes, ranging from pins to quarts. And number 2, pickling spices. Pickling spices are the mixture of spices that helps in inducing a depth of flavor to pickles. Number 3, next, vinegar for pickling. Vinegar is one of the most important ingredients used in pickling foods. Next, jar grabber. A jar grabber is a convenient tool used for pulling out jars from the boiling water. Next, funnel. Let's talk about funnel, okay? So, funnel aid is in the careful pouring of pickled ingredients into the sterilized jars. Next, lid lifter. A lid lifter helps in removing jar lids safely and securely from scaling hot water. Last one, pickling crack. A crack looks like a pot or a small bucket that helps in the safe fermentation of pickled foods. So those are the things that we need to know about, or the salient features on fermentation and pickling, including its equipment, tools, utensils, and materials. We need to understand. Thank you so much, and God bless you.